I'm tired. Can you guys hear me? JJR for life, finally an off tonight. Well, I had off after, let's say, 7 o'clock. Joshua 8824 Racer, what's up, man? What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Cutline, post Bristol edition. As y'all know, I hate these late night streams because I'm old and I like going to sleep. But unfortunately, we can't do that right now because we got to talk about Bristol because it was Elimination Day. Is Bowman in the round of 12 from Simon Roach, if that's how you pronounce your name? I apologize if I butchered it. I don't believe so. I believe he did have to win the race, or Cindric just had to like lose like another 10 laps. So I don't believe so. As a matter of fact, while we sit here and chat, I'm going to see. Of course, half of my Twitter is Bell, is Bristol. The other half is the Cutline. The other half is the Long Walk. I like spring Bristol. Raging Knuckles, you and me both, man. Let me tell you something. I picked Larson in my fantasy league, which, by the way, Jalen, if you're watching this, don't ever think you're going to catch up to me, all right? I'm up by 4. I'm up by 4. I'm going to stay up by 4. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, I'll explain it later on. But let's see if, okay, so Bob Pockris just, here, I'll show it to you guys right here. So yeah, so Bob Pockris, Bowman, Dylan, SVG, and Josh Berry eliminated. So, Simon, to answer your question, no, Bowman did not advance. But he was close. After Cindric, just caught on fire, I thought Cindric was going to DNF. And if he DNF'd, I'm like, oh my god, Bowman's going to make it just off sheer luck. But that didn't happen. They managed to get out on the track, even though they were like 10 miles off the pace. And hey, credit to the 2 team. They made it over, and unfortunately, Bowman did it. Before we go into each playoff driver specifically, and then we go into race weekend rankings and all that stuff, I will say, so in terms of the round of 16, I am 2 for 4 in my predictions. I had Cindric, Logano, Dylan, and Barry eliminated. So I got Dylan and Barry right. I didn't get SVG and Bowman right. Why did he choose the high lane? Well, I mean, he didn't really have a choice. The high line was the preferred line. And because it was kind of in desperation mode, he just had to go. The problem with Bowman is his car off the restart was terrible. He would just shoot up the track after every restart. It took the car like 3 laps before it finally started turning. Unfortunately for Bowman is he didn't have 3 laps because by that time the checkered flag flew. But Bowman kind of had to hope and pray that his car would magically work on the restart. So you can't really blame him for that one. Cindric advanced. That is correct. For real, though, I thought it was a great race. We'll get to that with the race weekend rankings, Raging Knuckles. To be fair, Buescher would have been a lot more deserving than Barry. That was an embarrassing 3 races for him. Yeah, can we talk about how Josh Berry had arguably the worst playoff run in NASCAR history? I mean, think about it, guys. 3 DNFs, 3 last place finishes, and I don't even think he made it to stage 2 in any of the races. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he caught on fire in stage 1 of this race. Now, Darlington, he snapped on his own. That's on him. Gateway, if I remember correctly, he got tagged, and that was just, there's nothing he could have done. And then tonight, obviously, mechanical failure took him out completely. That's like a football team winning a single game and making the playoffs. That stick and ball compares out there. Let me tell you all something. So, if you want to know the reason why the daily downforce, like, oh, where's no cautions given or extra stuff like that, or, maybe why I'm not as active in the Discord as I have. So I'm going to go a little on the tangent, but I'm going to circle back to this. So I started a new job, 2 weeks, last week actually, full time. I'm working 6 days a week. I'm working collegiate athletics, and part of that, because I'm focusing on the new job, this and that, trying to, balance everything out. I've kind of taken a little mini NASCAR hiatus. Obviously, I've been doing the streams. I've been doing, still, we're here tonight. Thank you everyone for tuning in, by the way. Appreciate each and every one of you. However, it's kind of made me take a mental break from NASCAR in the meantime. And let me tell you something. I feel as a NASCAR fan, I feel great. Because there's just so much negativity around the sport. Whether it's the car or the format or the lawsuits. It's like, you know what? I need to focus on this new job. And I need to focus. And so I was forced to take a break from NASCAR. Now, I still love the sport. My new office is really covered in NASCAR gear. But it's forced me to take a break. And going into these races now, I can just focus on the race. I can focus on the storylines, focus on the then and now. Something that I have personally been trying to do as a NASCAR fan for the longest time. And now that I finally get the chance to do that, honestly now, I don't care that much about the car. I don't care that much about the format. I just care about the here and the now. And as a fan, it is so refreshing just to, you know what? This is what we got. I'm going to take it what we have. Not saying I like the car, not saying I like the format, but it is very nice. Just have that mental break, come back, and you're refreshed. It's like you're reborn in a way. It's like, all right, get out of the negativity, you come back, you're just enjoying the race. And pretty good, all things considered, considering this is one of the best races of the year, but we'll get to that with the race weekend rankings. So I say that because for JGR for life, love you, my man. No criticism, but before, I'd be like, yeah, I still agree with you. I don't like this format at all, but I'm not as bothered by it as I was before, taking this mini break. If you obviously, I'm still paying attention, still watching. I should be bringing some things back, like the driver audio should hopefully be coming back this week. No cautions given. I keep saying I have this video I need to edit. I just haven't had the time to edit it. Hopefully this week I finally managed to get some time to edit it, and I can show it to you guys. But I say that, a little bit of a tangent, because again, now I can just fully focus on the race. And speaking of the race, let's get into that right now. So, throughout these playoffs, we have been pretty much focusing on every playoff driver. So, for example, like the winner of today's race, Christopher Bell. Now, Bell, if you guys have, been longtime listeners of the show or watchers of the show, I've been very critical of the 20 team throughout the season because after they won their 3 races in a row, they've pretty much been nowhere. They are 11, going into the playoffs. I mentioned how they were 11th out of all the playoff drivers in laps led. They haven't really been much of a factor. I don't even think they have 2 stage wins this year. So I was saying that the 20 team, they're, people are just saying that, oh, it's Christopher Bell. Of course he's going to do it. But it's like they're not paying attention to the 20 team. But finally get back into victory lane for the first time since March. And they were in the mix. The strategy was right. They made the right call to come in for tires. And Bell, this is what he does. When you put him in a position to close out, 9 times out of 10, he delivers. And he did that today. He got by Brad. He held off the pressure for Brad. Brad literally took a shot at him on that final lap, and Bell literally looked unscathed. So massive props to Christopher Bell. This is what I've been waiting to see out of the 20 team. Running top. I know he was a lap down for about the first half of the race, and, tire strategy and all that stuff kind of jumbled the running order, but this is what I've been waiting to see from the 20 teams since March, and hey, what better time to do that than in the playoffs? So big credit to Christopher Bell. I do want to give a shout out to Brad Keselowski. Second place finish, almost got that win, didn't have quite enough. And to Zane Smith as well, 3rd place finish, good run for him. Ryan Blaney in 4th. I've said for the longest time that Bristol is a sneaky good track for Blaney. Back in the Wood Brother days, he was running top 5. Even in the early days of Penske, he was running top 5 in leading laps. The problem is, Blaney always had bad luck at Bristol. Whether he was cutting tires or getting involved in accidents, things never went right for the 12th team. Today, things went right. He led 30 laps. He looked good, running top 5, top 10 all day long, and got a 4th place result. And he advances to the next round, which he did, I believe, at the end of stage 1, end of stage 2. So, good result for Blaney, as a good result for Joey Logano. Logano, I had eliminated in the round of 16. I thought that Darlington was going to be a struggle. Gateway was maybe his only real chance of maybe showing something, and Bristol, I didn't really think he'd do much. He did a lot of Bristol, with the tire saving, top 5 finish, and he had a solid enough playoffs. Solid enough round of 16. Was it the best? Not really, but he kind of has the advantage of the fact that so many other guys ran into issues throughout the playoffs that, he just had to survive. He just had to, just not DNF, which he didn't. Ran well. He, finished every race, whereas a lot of these guys I'm going to mention out didn't. So credit to Joey Logano. He did what he had to do, and he advances to the next round. Shout out to Corey Heim, 6th place finish, by the way. Alex Bowman. For so much of the broadcast, when they're talking about, man, Alex Bowman, he could win this race. He could win this race. Keep it on that 48. And I'm looking at the running order. I'm like, Bowman's running 13th. He's 14th. Like, it really felt like the announcers were just trying to just say something to create excitement and engagement, which at the end of the day, that's their job, so I can't really blame them. I mean, I'm an announcer myself. I'm so I understand that. But later on into the race, I'm like, wait a minute. That 48 is in the top 10. That 48's in the top 5. Hold on. Are we actually going to see Alex Bowman win this race? If his car actually worked on restarts, I think Bowman would have won this race. So, gets eliminated. Of course, pit road mishap at Darlington took him out of it. Pit road mishap at Gateway took him out of it, along with bad qualifying efforts. So, given the situation the 48 was in, he did as well as he could. Again, the car, if it actually, turned on a restart instead of going straight, then we'd probably be talking about the 48 making it and either the 2 or the 9 missing out. But 48 gets eliminated. I had him advancing to the round of 12. I got that wrong. So, Alex Bowman, a lot of people, they love to go after Alex Bowman saying the 48, he doesn't deserve the 48. He shouldn't be in the 48. And, it's like, have you guys not seen, like, I feel like I'm migrating to being a Bowman fan out of pittiness for Bowman, because guys, just 10 years ago, not even like 9 years ago, the 4th driver at Hendrick, Casey Kane, I'm not going to count Dale Jr. because concussion, led 0 laps in 2016. In 2017, the 4th Hendrick driver, Dale Jr., finished 22nd in points. Nowadays, the 4th Hendrick driver, Alex Bowman, is getting eliminated in the round of 16. Even before Larson got there, the 4th Hendrick driver, Jimmy Johnson, didn't even make the playoffs. Like, we got to get this idea out of our head that all 4 Hendrick cars are going to run top 5 every single day. Like, seriously, guys, if Carson Hocevar or Kyle Busch or Tyler Reddick is in that 48, Bowman hovers around 5th to 10th in points most of the year. Where do you think a Hocevar, a Kyle Busch, or Reddick is going to hover more times than not? Probably the same range, 5th to 10th. Is Bowman as flashy as those guys? No. But to say that Bowman doesn't deserve the 48 is just, frankly, it's stupid. It's just pure stupidity. It's people trying to, it's like when fans were getting mad that Watkins Glen is in May instead of, in the summer. It's a controversy. It's the fans trying to create something out of nothing. It's just complaining just to complain, which you guys know I will call you guys out on. And Bowman, I'm not saying I'm a Bowman fan, but again, to say he doesn't deserve his ride is just stupid. Bowman is way overhated. Exactly. Like, go watch what Casey Kane or Dale Jr., or as a matter of fact, Casey Mears, or even the guy behind me right here. I believe this is Rick. I always forget. I believe this was Ricky Craven in the 25. So go watch those guys, and then you guys will. Alex Bowman makes them. Alex Bowman looks like Kyle Larson compared to those guys in terms of the fourth Hendrick driver. Which, by the way, for the first half of the year, you can make the argument the fourth Hendrick guy was Chase Elliott. Just saying. I'm breezing. I feel like I'm breezing by pretty quickly. We're only 16 minutes into the stream, which, by the way, guys, please like the stream and subscribe to the Daily Downforce YouTube channel. That helps me out a ton. Appreciate each and every one of you tuning in week in and week out. Chase Briscoe. I thought Briscoe was going to win. I was like, he's got the strategy right. He's got the pace. Every time that 19 is up there, he stays up there. I thought the 19 was going to get the win. 9th place finish. Not a lot to talk about for Briscoe. Won Darlington, locked in. You know, he just had to really, he was just out there for fun. We know that 19 car is fast. We know he's a dark horse Final Four contender. Will he get there? That is the question. But again, 19 car already advanced. Not much to talk about. Good 9th place run and led 127 laps along the way. Ty Gibbs led the most laps. Of course, pit road mishap, trying to get on the pit road. Typically I focus on the playoff guys, but so many non-playoff guys had standout performances. I want to give them their time in the spotlight. Ty Gibbs led the most laps. Bristol is his best track. If he didn't have that pit road mishap, he probably would have won the race. William Byron, pretty quiet today. Not a lot for the 24, and even when we did hear about the 24, it was a lot of mistakes and issues, and he was just, William Byron, he just other playoff guys ran into issues and kind of just 12th place, kind of like Logano. He didn't really need to do much. He already had a buffer, he already had a cushion, and he took advantage of it. So 12th place run. I'd like to see more out of the 24. I feel like Darlington was, a disappointment. Gateway, he was nowhere. Bristol, he was nowhere. So when we go to like Loudon and Kansas and the Roval, I'd like to see a little more speed out of the 24. Like in the summer, that team was hot. Just didn't get the finishes they deserved. And of course, they won Iowa. I haven't seen a lot of speed out of the 24 in these playoffs, so that is a little bit concerning, especially because I had Byron making the Final Four. So I need to see a little more speed out of the 24, which I think we will do at some point. Tyler Reddick, again, really, Gateway was okay for him. Darlington was the standout in this round, and then Bristol, he was really nowhere. But again, a lot of guys ran into issues, so the 45, kind of like, again, like Byron, and like a lot of these guys, they just did enough. Because so many playoff guys ran into issues and ran into problems. And because, of course, we had Bell winning it at the end of the day. A lot of these guys, 12th to 15th to even 19th here with Ross Chastain, they just had to do enough. They didn't have to be anything flashy. They just had to survive, and that's what they did. So that's why you had guys like Byron, who already had a big cushion. Reddick, of course, took advantage of the good performance at Darlington. And Chastain was already above the cut line. Yeah, he was kind of on it, kind of, sort of, but he did enough to advance. Nicholas, what's up, man? Congratulations on Christopher Bell winning the Dynaco 400 at Bristol, baby. Let's go. Best race ever. So much fun. You mean you everything. Dynaco 400. That's funny. I like that one. SVG. Man. Well, 26 is better than what he did in the spring. I really thought Shane Van Gisbergen would have a better playoffs. I thought that given that 2 out of these 3 tracks, he's going for the second time, more experience. Gateway is like Richmond, and he had a really good run at Richmond. And on top of that, he was having better runs at ovals. Top 15s, top 10. So I thought that momentum was on his side, but he just never clicked. I mean, I talked about it in my episode, No Cautions Given, with my playoff predictions, where can the team rise to playoff pressure? And I think the 88 team crumbled under playoff pressure. Darlington, really nowhere. I mean, the highlight of his playoffs is staying on the lead lap at stage 1 at Darlington. Gateway, he spun. Here, he spun. I mean, we talk about, SVG's got to get better at ovals. Guys, even if SVG gets decent at ovals, this guy doesn't even have a top 10 at an oval yet. So, let's pump the brakes. Maybe we can finally pump the brakes now on SVG being this ungodly figure in NASCAR in the future. Like, now the fact that, this playoffs is, remember, he is the 16th best oval racer out of all the playoff guys. I had him advancing to the round of 12 because, again, I thought that he would do enough. He did not do enough. He crumbled under the pressure. That's just what it is. Again, his highlight of the playoffs is DNFing at Darlington. Staying on the lead lap at the end of stage 1 at Darlington. Now, does he still lack a lot of oval experience? Yes. Will he get better at ovals? I believe so. Yes, Levi, we are still alive. I don't know how, but we are. But with SVG, I talked about it in No Cautions Given. Playoff pressure is different. I don't care what you say about the format. There is a real thing in this format as playoff pressure. We have seen it throughout history. And that's why I put that on SVG, because he was getting better at ovals. He was getting top 15s, top 20s. He led laps at Daytona. Yes, I know it's a super speedway, but it's still an oval. And then when the playoffs start and everyone brings their A game, he plummets once again. That tells me that the 88 team does not have the playoffs figured out yet. Which, again, rookie team, rookie driver, I get it. I'm not going to go too hard on SVG. But maybe we could stop acting like SVG is this oh, he's going to be this amazing. It's like, I still think SVG will be good. I think he'll figure out ovals eventually. But still, we can bring SVG back to reality, guys. Not just saying. Austin Dillon. I don't have much to say about Austin Dillon. This is what you expect, frankly. I thought this round was decent for him. Darlington, no, but Gateway and Bristol, he had a couple top 10s here, but the 3 team, they tried, but 28th, 4 laps down. That's why I expect that Austin Dillon. I'm sorry. Cindric really gave everyone a scare. It looked like he was comfortably in. He was going to be fine. And then the car caught on fire. And because the car caught on fire, all of a sudden, 30 points goes down to 20. And then 20 goes down to 10. And then all of a sudden, Alex Bowman is running second. He's 3/10 behind the leader. And it looks like Cindric's going to get eliminated. Luckily for Cindric, Bowman's strategy didn't work. Caution came out, and then he survived at the end of the day. Sean, if you're watching this, I know you probably were sweating in those last 30 laps after what happened to Cindric. But Cindric, 30th place finish, he got very, very lucky. Very lucky at the end. So I'm going to say. He's always made it, funny enough, to the round of 12. He has 3 playoff appearances, 3 round of 12 appearances, and 3 round of 12 exits. So make of that what you will. It's a fly on my desk. Denny Hamlin and Kyle Larson. Not really much to say about these guys. Again, Hamlin won Gateway. He locked himself in. Larson was, again, I said it last week, plus 60. He basically had to start the race and he was locked in. Basically what happened. Started the race, locked in, 32nd place finish. Kind of a very disappointing finish to the playoffs, to the round of 16 for Larson. Darlington had top 5 speed. Got damaged, didn't get the finish he deserved. Gateway had top 5 speed, leading laps. Issues arise, didn't get the finish he deserved, though I do think he finished 12th. Bristol didn't really have top 5 speed, at top 10 speed, but strategy, and then he spun. So many issues for the 5 team, just 32nd. Again, they're lucky they built that buffer because tonight was not a good night for them. at least they're showing speed. They had speed at Darlington. They had speed at Gateway. And this is speed we haven't seen since, not counting the Brickyard, because it was kind of a blip in the radar, since the Coke 600. So, it looks like the 5 team is starting to get back on track speed-wise. So, as a Larson fan, I like that. Now, can they capitalize and start winning some races and, closing out these finishes? We'll have to wait and see. But there are some positives to take from the 5 in these playoffs. Even though a 32nd place finish, not what you want to see. Same thing for Bubba. Ran into issues, but again, plus 50. He just had to survive the race, and then he would be fine. 12 laps down, locked himself in. Very impressed with Bubba these playoffs. Ran well at Gateway, ran well at Darlington. Led laps at Bristol, of course, ran into issues, but still, 34th place finish was enough to make it in. Very impressed. I have Bubba making it to the round of 8. If he performs like he did in this round, in the next round, I think my prediction is going to look pretty good. Chase is another one that kind of had a scare at the end, but he pretty much needed Bowman to win in order to get knocked out. Fortunately for Chase, never really happened. So, Chase managed to survive. Although the lack of overall speed is concerning me with the 9 team. Darlington wasn't great. He did finish 3rd at Gateway, so that was nice. But, that's kind of... Gateway is really a Hendrick track. So, we'll see if they manage to translate that speed to New Hampshire next week. And then we go to Kansas. He almost won that race earlier in the year. And then, of course, the Roval. So, we'll see a better set of tracks for Chase in the round of 12. So, we'll see if he's able to capitalize on that. And then Josh Berry, we talked about him earlier. Arguably the worst playoff run in NASCAR history. 3 DNFs, 3 last place finishes, all before the end of stage 1. Josh Berry, unfortunately, his round of 16 goes pretty much like a dud. So, that is going over every playoff driver. Now, let's see if NASCAR's updated the standings. And they have. Okay, so we're going to look at them real quick. So, Hamlin takes over the top seed because he won Gateway. He got those extra playoff points. Hamlin plus 24. Byron and Larson are tied with plus 20. Bell plus 20. Obviously, he got the win at Bristol, so he gets 5 extra playoff points. Blaney plus 19. Briscoe plus 10. Elliott plus 5. Bubba plus 1. Then at the bottom, you got Cindric, Logano, Chastain, and then Reddick. So the cut line from 6 on down is pretty damn tight. Pretty tight. So that'll be interesting. Again, this round isn't as chaotic as it used to be because Talladega's in the round of 8 now. We got New Hampshire, which, assuming it doesn't rain, should be a normal race. Kansas, then the Roval. So we'll wait and see. Just off of first glimpse, if I had to predict any of these guys, honestly, I like this right here. I mean, I had Reddick getting bounced in the round of 12. I had Chastain, Logano, and Cindric. I think this actually is my round of 8 right here. I think it is, yeah, because I had Hamlin, William Byron, Larson, Bell, Blaney, Briscoe, Elliott. Yeah, this is my round of 8 predictions. So, based off my predictions, which are still alive and well, I'd say this stays the same. I don't trust these 2 Penske guys. Chastain, I don't see the speed. And then Reddick, still very inconsistent. But that is our playoff update. Now, let us move on to the race weekend rankings. Before we do that, all my boy had to do was finish from Levi. And it was one of 2 races. We died. Why is Elliott plus 5 if he got no playoff points in the round of 16? The reason he's that high is because, remember, at the end of the regular season, the top 10 of points get playoff points. So we'll go back here. I think Chase finished 4th or 5th at the end of the regular season, so he got a good chunk of playoff points. And so Cindric was outside the top 10. Logano was outside the top 10. Chastain was outside the top 10. I think Reddick was like 9th. So that's why Chase is above the cut line, because he got those playoff points from finishing high in the points in the regular season. When I finally learn how to talk, I'll do it. Anyway, race weekend rankings time. I'll make this one pretty quick. The Food City 300. So I think we can all agree Cup is number 1. Easily. Even though, based on practice, it looked like it was going to be down here. But thankfully, it was up here. I know Almirola won. There was a lot of shenanigans. I think there were more storylines and more memorable moments. Because, see, both of these races kind of blended in for me. They were both very good. Don't get me wrong. But they kind of just blended in. So when two races kind of blend in at that point, then, you know, it's kind of just like, all right, which one had better moments? And I think because we had a lot of issues, I think there were more, like, a lot of issues. Almirola won. Obviously, Sam Mayer held up Sheldon Creed. There's another second place finish. I think there were more storylines in the Xfinity race that I'm going to put at number 2 and then Truck at number 3. I think this is good. What do you guys think? I like this right here. Cup is number 1. I don't think anyone can deny that. Xfinity number 2, Truck number 3. Could be changed, but I like where this is at. Moving on to the... Oh, that is not the 2025 tier. This is the 2025 tier. Here's a behind the scenes of all the race weekend rankings we've done. You see, we got a lot of them. Here's the 2025 tier. All right. Xfinity, again, I thought these races were pretty good, so I'll put them here at the top and a B tier. And then the Cup race, I'll put it at the end of S tier. I'm going to put at the end of S tier. There's so many good moments. The racing was phenomenal. Tires, managing them. It was pretty much the spring race, which was amazing. I like when the teams are hit with a challenge and then they're able to adapt with that challenge. It's not like the tires recording and then they managed to managed to make it last 60, 70 laps, similar to what was in the spring last year. The teams were able to adapt and have refined the product. So because of that, yeah, I'll put Bristol Night Race at the end of S tier. I still think Coda was better. I still think all these races were better. And yeah. So that is our 2025 race weekend rankings so far post Bristol. What do you guys think? It's good to see Bristol show its old brutal self back. I agree, Raging Knuckles. I agree. But it's a pretty short stream, all things considered. Only 34 minutes long. Like I said, I went through this pretty quickly. But yeah, that is going to do it for this episode. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed tuning in. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the Cutline. We will be back next weekend for New Hampshire. Before we go, I'm going to be honest. I almost forgot. I have been slacking a little bit on this recently. The polls. The polls. So, here's what I need to do. Raging, you know what I'm talking about. I need to start showing again the polls for which are exclusive on the Daily Downforce Discord. So, the truck race. Was the truck race at Bristol above or below the cut line? 50% of everybody. There were 6 votes. 50% voted for on the cut line, so the race was in the middle. 2 voted for below. 1 voted for above. A lot of people thought it was an okay race. Probably would have put it in the C tier. I had it in the B tier. I thought it was a good race. I didn't think it was anything spectacle, but I thought it was a good race. The Xfinity one, a little more positive. 9 votes on this poll. 56% voted for on the cut line and 44% voted for above. So more in line with a B tier race, above average to, average race. And then the Cup poll, which is still going on. I haven't voted on it yet, but I'll vote for above. 8 votes, including myself, and 88% voted for above. And then one vote, 13% for below. It better, hey, Logano fan in the chat. It better not be you, because your boy got a top 5. So you better not vote it for below. Because I know in the chat you were saying how Bristol is awful. I'm just busting your balls, man. But anyway, yeah. Finally did that. So again, if you guys want to vote on the above or below the cut line polls, head over to the Daily Downforce Discord. They are posted after every race on the Race Reactions channel. Again, the only way to vote is on the Daily Downforce Discord, so please join the Daily Downforce Discord. I believe the link is in the description, and if not, you know, obviously just look up Daily Downforce on Discord. I believe it's on the website as well, so you guys can check it out over there. But other than that, wrong one. But that is going to do it. You guys can tell I'm tired. Brian, what's up, man? Joey legit could have won, though, if that race went green. Pain. Pain indeed. But that's going to do it for me, folks. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please, before we go, like this stream and subscribe to the Daily Downforce YouTube channel. That helps me out a ton. Also, check out dailydownforce.com. You got all sorts of great content over there, whether you talk about articles, mini games, other content creators, you name it. And also, check out the shop. There is a new edition of NASCAR Pole Position Magazine that's just been released. You guys want to go check that out? Go to dailydownforce.com, go to the shop, and then have it there. We even have bundles. Whether you're a diecast guy, you want to check out some other magazines as well that we have, go check out on dailydownforce.com. But that's going to do it for me, folks. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will see you for Loudon, and have a good one.